Welcome to Build Out with Jim Kunkel, your go-to broadcast for learning more about business in the real world. Your host, Jim Kunkel, who's an accomplished professional in business development, sales, and marketing, and is a technical content creator along with being a rising influencer on LinkedIn. On Build Out, you'll get the latest information and knowledge from subject matter experts from across the globe. Okay, let's get this Build Out broadcast started. And here's your host, Jim Kunkel.
Hey, welcome to Build Out. I'm Jim Kunkel. Joining me today is Lisa Ground from Farwest Corrosion Company. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, Lisa, before we get into our conversation about business development for beginners, could you provide a background on yourself, professional background on yourself, what you do, and also talk a little bit about what Farwest does in the industries?
Sure. Yeah, I've been a corrosion technician for 23 years. I'm a NACE AMP certified corrosion technician, a CP1 and a CIP1. I started with Farwest 6 months ago. This new door opened up, so I'm really glad to be in this part of the industry now. Farwest has been around since 1956. We are a women-owned business, and we deal with corrosion mitigation materials, anodes, CP systems, coatings, just about everything corrosion related.
Fighting the good fight out there against corrosion, no matter what shape and form it comes to at us, right?
Right. Rust never sleeps.
Very good. Very good. So, Lisa, what I wanted to do is, have a great conversation, obviously related to business development, and talk about some of the aspects that you and I have had an opportunity to talk with over the last, couple of months. But the first thing I really wanted to cover is related to business development. When we look at business development, and sometimes it can be confusing to people, business development is more of a longer term approach. When we look at sales, a lot of times we're looking at transactions, we're looking at activities that lead to a sales closing. Now, ultimately, business development and sales, they do lead to revenue generation and profits, but that business development is more of the longer term strategy. It's a lot more of a process and procedures. The best way I always describe is like sales engineering for the most part. When it comes to business development, what are some of the things that you have incorporated when you're out there prospecting for your future clients or partners or relationships that you're going to have for Farwest and yourself?
Well, the first thing we need to realize as a business development specialist that our job requires connecting with people, not just the sale. We need to build trust. We need to capture the attention and demonstrate passion, enthusiasm, and pride. And, this is an old saying, but it's so true. Customers don't care what we know. They want to know that we care. No one cares what we do or how smart we are or how special we think our company is. They want to know what's in it for them. What problems we can solve for them, and the results that we can achieve for customers. So these things are very important to them.
So some of the important activities related to business development, well, one of the first activities that really comes to mind for me is dealing with research, looking into the markets that you work in, even potential future markets. What type of market research have you done, and what vehicles, or let's say what platforms do you use to do market research?
I use a lot of LinkedIn. I type in the area that I'm looking at, maybe the industry that I'm looking at to connect with. And then I try to connect with people that obviously could use our product. Everyone knows if they're into corrosion, they know what anodes do. So I'm not trying to sell them something that they don't know anything about. It's just building that relationship. So Google, I'll use Google sometimes. As I mentioned to you earlier, I've only been in the Pittsburgh area for about a year and a half. So I don't know all the companies. I don't have good friends, in the area yet, but I'm building that. But our Newtown, Pennsylvania office, our regional manager, Laura Bauer, has helped me a lot. She's given me lots of contacts and names, and just going to the trade shows, you meet a lot of good people there.
That's super great to mention that related to the conferences and the trade shows. When you really look at collecting all that market information, you really need to put it into some type of a usable format. And for me, that's always been an industry map. when you really look at an industry, you want to have a full understanding of it, a comprehension of it, but also too, you need to map it out to know exactly where you are versus your competition. Also too, where are the opportunities, where are potential weaknesses for you, and where there's some threats that could happen. And so what you want to do is really map out that industry, that sector. The other thing too, I think with the mapping is that sometimes you can find industries that are related or connected that you never thought you had an opportunity to play in. And, you and I have talked a little bit about, what related to Far West and what you do. And I'm sure there's some industries that, maybe Far West really, doesn't see as a core, but there's some interconnected relationships related to the industries that you do work in. Have you found that with Far West?
I haven't personally, but some of the reps on the West Coast have mentioned, as far as like the ag business, they have watering systems and irrigation, especially out in California and on the eastern side of Washington where it's very dry. And they, you wouldn't think about the ag industry for cathodic protection, or I wouldn't. And it's really turned out to be, very important, as well as like the steel pilings and things on the coast. There's where the water rises and falls, and so you're without cathodic protection for a while when the water recedes, and then when it comes back, you have protection. So there's a lot of industries out there, a lot of places where CP could be used that I just need to scratch the surface.
Yeah, that's important. Obviously the industry that you're in, but anyone watching our broadcast today, or watching the replay of our broadcast, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're in corrosion coatings, if you're into making donuts, sometimes you're going to find that there are sectors or industries that currently you don't view as a main opportunity, but there might be some interconnection that gets you into, and it can help either get you into a new industry, or what it could do is open up another revenue source for you when you're looking to plan out your year. Earlier in the week, I had done a survey, and this is how the survey worked out. I talk about business development strategies. They leverage outreach tactics to nurture business relations, and which growth strategy is most important. Market penetration was by far the number one selected, and then product development. So I think it comes into it when you're looking at developing anything related to a market, you also have to really look at a targeted growth plan. It's one thing to identify a market and then say, these are the products that we're going to develop it, but you really need to have a targeted growth plan. Have you had any experiences related to, on the business development side, working out longer term, those 3 to 5 year plans? Have you have any experience related to that?
I haven't yet. I mean, we basically do a year, quarters at a time, and nothing as far as a 5 year yet. As I told you, I'm brand new. I mean, I wouldn't even consider myself an infant. I'd consider myself a twinkle in my daddy's eye. I'm so new to this area. So no, I haven't done anything that far yet.
Sorry to put you on the spot there, but it's something as a beginner, something to look at. What you want to make sure you do, the sales 101 is that you want to plan your work and work your plan. And a lot of times when it comes down to, you can project out where you're going to be year after year after year. Related to the longer term, especially related to business development activities, what in the 3 to 5 year, where are some of the partnerships that we need to develop it? Maybe there's some other industries that we could team up with and work on a partnership agreement, or where are some of the key accounts that need to be developed that can really help in that growth strategy. Lead generation, I know that you're very well experienced in lead generation. Typically for a lot of business development, it's, as you mentioned earlier, doing the trade shows, doing the conferences, getting out there and grip and grinning and meeting with key contacts in different key industries, prospects and customers. And the other area too is utilizing such platforms. LinkedIn for me has been an amazing platform to be able to find these targets and prospects to be able to work. Are there any other lead sources that you use to develop business development prospects or targets?
Again, it's mostly for me. It has been LinkedIn. When customers place orders in our Newtown office, they give me their names and information so I can contact them later. It's just really, I need to go through a lot of files and learn a lot more about our area and see where growth is needed, which right now it's on the western side where I'm located. Um, so right now, like I said, LinkedIn is my number one platform that I use.
Very good, very good. And there are a lot of other tools that are out there. Some people will take advantage if they have use Google Analytics. Obviously, there's going to be leads that can come through the website. There might be referrals that you're getting from your customers. So there's a lot of ways to really, and, even back to the conferences and trade shows, you're going to get a lot of great referrals. You're going to get a lot of great leads to work from there as well.
We look at a lot of bid boards as well.
Very good. Yeah.
To see who's bidding on projects and see if we can help them that way.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to the projects, when you have, if you're working with, different industries and they've got projects that are going on, if you're going to be looking at the projects, obviously you're going to get some information if the bids are awarded. Again, this is going to be more public bids. Mm-hmm. Typically, you're going to get this information. You're going to know who the contractor is. You're going to know who some of the players are to be able to work with them as well. And another thing to kind of close out our conversation related to business development activities is in the project management side. And what I mean by project management is that typically when you're looking at business development and you have a relationship, you're going to be doing a lot of work related to projects. And so those are some of the things where you're going to be able to recommend, you're going to be able to advise some solutions and present that information to be it an owner or a contractor, whoever it might be. And I'm sure you do a lot of that as well when you're working with your customers and mm-hmm. as well. Related to project management, are there any recommendations you have if someone is new in business development, what they should look for related to projects?
Well, first of all, understand what your products do, okay. Understand how they're used, and then do the job walks. Talk with the owners, get pictures and gather all the data that you can, and then go back and see what you have that can help them. I mean, it's all about helping the clients. Everyone knows what an anode is, but they don't realize that there's 100 different kinds of anodes. And if they're used in different areas and for different, and again, this is corrosion. I know this is business development for all industries, but I can only speak what I know about. So, you just have to do your work, learn your product, learn what they need, and then present them with your opinion of what can help.
That's very, very good recommendation there. Good advice. So when we're looking at the next area I wanted to cover with you and talk a little bit about is related to establishing SMART goals. Are you familiar with SMART goals?
Yes.
Do you use SMART goals to develop yours? Okay, excellent. Yes. And to kind of, let everybody know or remind everybody what SMART goals are, they are specific. And they typically, when you're talking specific, they tend to be more simple. They're sensible. They're significant. Measurable, they tend to be more meaningful and motivating. Achievable, they tend to be more agreeable, attainable, and then relevant, reasonable, timely manner type of result. And then time-based limit, time, cost, time sensitive, and things like that. So when we look at SMART goals, it's a great way to develop your goals to make sure that they do make sense and they do fit within the organization or the company requirement when it comes to revenue, profitability. But the business development, like I say, is a function in a way of sales and generating revenue. But in some cases, you have companies that have a sales team, then they also have a business development team. So that combination of working together really helps mm-hmm. develop that long-term value for a company or an organization. And so SMART goals are a great way to establish that. Related to SMART goals, do you have any recommendations or any type of wisdom related to developing it? What people should do to develop their own SMART goals?
Well, make them attainable. Don't do like a lot of people do their New Year's resolution and say, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 2 weeks. It just defeats the purpose, and it just defeats you. So when you're starting out with your SMART goals, make sure they're attainable. Don't overdo it. Get in, like one of them for me is building up my confidence. So, now I've got to make it measurable. I've got a certain number of trainings and lunch and learns and things I need to do this first go around. And then I just start small. Make sure that you can reach them. And then when you see how easy it really is, then maybe in the next quarter or however you set up your goals, reach a little bit, reach out and push yourself.
Yeah, the stretch goals are very, very good. And a lot of times companies will build extra incentives related to stretch goals, to kind of push a little bit there to see how far we can get, maybe a little bit of extra profitability or, go for a revenue. And a lot of times what you recommended is you want to adjust because market changes can happen. Just this morning, hearing about what the price of oil and what's going on in the oil industry. So, a lot of these things come into play and they really can impact you down the road, either positively or negatively. And so by adjusting and be able to analyze the data that's going on, it can really help you kind of prepare and plan for that for future. Lisa, let's go ahead and let's talk about, well, at least for me, it's a favorite subject and hopefully for you as well, related to business development, for beginners. The one thing I always recommend if I'm talking to anybody who might be new in any different industry and they're saying, hey, Jim, what do you recommend when it comes to me really trying to find prospects or to kind of build my professional brand or help promote or anything like that? And I always center in on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, since its inception for me, I've been on the platform from the beginning. And it's been an important platform for me. It's really opened a ton of doors for me. It's really helped grow myself professionally. And also, too, it's helped me really achieve a lot of success that I've had over the years in business development. And so when we went into 2020, we were all forced to be inside, remote working on different platforms, and we went virtual. And so what I noticed was a major shift in the interactions and the operability of LinkedIn, where as a platform, I viewed it being very strengthened, not only from LinkedIn as a platform, some of the things they've been doing is like, for example, what we're doing right now, but also too, the quality level of the conversations that were going on in LinkedIn, and then the quality related to the connections and the opportunities to really do a lot of quality and important business development work. You're looking at LinkedIn has 800 million global users in 200 countries. So you're talking about a huge opportunity. When it comes to LinkedIn, how do you utilize LinkedIn?
Again, I either type in, again, this is just for the job I do, corrosion or cathodic protection. And, you'll get, like you said, global connections. I also try to do in the areas that I'm working, research that way. And once you get a connection, then you can go into their connections and see, like you said earlier, maybe they're not corrosion technicians, but they're another part of that industry or that business, because a lot of utilities now are electric, water, and oil and gas. And so you can reach out and get more connections that you maybe would not have found with your basic search.
Yeah. And, a lot of times the value with LinkedIn, you could have a paid account or not. In fact, I find it very valuable. The nice thing with the Sales Navigator and some of the advanced tools when you have a membership or you pay for the premium services, that you can get a lot of detail, but you can also fine tune it. But a lot of times for me, even with on the free side of just having a regular profile, you might find yourself a connection or two away if you do a basic search from the point of contact, who is a decision maker.
Right.
And you have that opportunity to work either through other connections to get to that person, but it really kind of shorts that prospecting cycle and kind of helps cut that time down and get you closer to where you really need to be. Now, some ways to really look at how to generate connections. The first thing I recommend for everybody is to make sure that your profile is up to date. You have some very good keywords and hashtags in there, and then also to make sure that you have a photo. That you can even do a short video clip to introduce yourself and your profile pic. So there's a lot of neat features that are built into it. One of the other areas too is that you have to be engaged. And what I mean by that, and at least I know you do this, you like and you share other content. You comment on other content as well, or post. And it could be a post for a product, a service. It could be just someone posting something. It's a general, information or some type of a business type of statement. Post on that and like and share that. It's a great way to stay connected with contacts, but also develop new contacts. Do you do a lot of that yourself?
Yes, I do. I stay away from political things because that'll kill you. But yeah, I do. If other companies, if I like their products or have used them before, of course I'll comment or like and share. It's very important because what you're doing is if you like something, then all your connections are going to see that, not just the person who posted it. And then it just goes on, and it's good advertisement for whoever is promoting that product, or even just a little bit of humor. Sometimes there's some really good things out there that are funny or inspirational, and it's always good. Sometimes maybe someone in my connections needed to see that, or I needed to see it, so I shared it. So it's very helpful.
That's a great point. And the thing with it is, by being engaged, by liking, sharing, commenting, it really helps relate it to the algorithm, and that's really important to be able to really make sure that your content or your posts are really getting out there. The algorithm's kind of promoting it out there, sharing it out there. When it comes to the qualification of connections, or if you're going to reach out to somebody to create a connection, what I've always recommended is you really need to look into see, is this a mutual beneficial opportunity? Mm-hmm. So you'll find profiles of users, and I'm not disparaging this, but sometimes they have 25, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 connections. And when you look at that, I always like to look at what type of activity they got going on. So in other words, what type of post they do, and how many are they getting? Thousands of likes? Are they getting hundreds of shares? And sometimes what I find is that people with these large connection networks, sometimes they have very low or almost minimal amount of connection interaction going on, the liking and sharing and commenting. So I've always focused on the quality of the connection. Does this make sense for me and the person I'm reaching out to be connected? The same thing when I get requests. When I get requests and I look, does this make sense? Or, and a lot of times you'll be able to tell right away if, maybe they're looking to promote cryptocurrency, or they're in something completely different that just doesn't make sense, and they're just looking to create connections. It's really a waste of time for you. But for them, again, maybe they're just looking to build a connections network that's high because they think that's where it needs to be. How do you qualify your connections?
The same way you just said. I want to see if there's a mutual benefit for both of us. Sometimes, I'll make connections for people clear on the western side of the country or whatever, and I know I can't help them, but still connecting with them because they're either in corrosion or something. And of course, companies are nationwide now, and maybe they would know somebody on their side that would be interested in what we have. You just learn a lot too when you make connections from people that are in your same industry or do what you do. There's a lot of good posts out there about corrosion and or whatever you're in. That you just learn a lot. And if you connect with people of your own training, then it's very helpful. You don't get all these, number one donut is this or whatever, because it doesn't really pertain to me. I need to know more about my industry. And so I try to connect with people in my industry, the water industry, different things that we could be a mutual benefit to each other.
Some other things I recommend: short video. Record yourself, put it out there. That's important as well, because the posts are important to have, but you really also need to look at getting messages out there that could be video, and it's an opportunity for for you to get some interaction going on. Raymond, that's funny. So, doing video, writing articles. I've written some articles in different sectors, different sides, different flavors of, whatever it might be, topics. And that really helps generate engagement and also connections as well. I know for me, the video has been really beneficial for me, not only doing LinkedIn Live, but posting video. I need to launch a newsletter. That's going to be the next thing I do. LinkedIn audio hopefully will be coming available. There'll be an opportunity to do a Clubhouse-like audio stream as well. And so there's so many ways to be connected, get your message out, get your information out, create those engagement opportunities. And that's what business development is all about. Closing out our conversation here, Lisa, related to business development for beginners, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would want to leave with the viewers?
I would just like to mention a book that I've really learned a lot about, and it's Mark Weinberg's New Sales Simplified. It's an amazing book. It's one I use all the time for calls or LinkedIn messages. It just really resonated with me, the way he talks. And, it's like he says, no one's ever gotten killed by making a call. It's part of it. You have to do it. And, another thing, I listen to his podcast too, whenever I'm going to meet clients or jobs. And, something he said is people don't want to be sold. They want to be informed. And that really hit home for me, because I'm like everyone else. When my phone rings and it's an unknown caller, it's like, no, I don't need auto insurance. Quit calling me. It's just like you cringe. But if you can handle it, so, you are their friend and you inform them and you give them what they're asking for, because, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. We're supposed to listen to what their needs are and provide that for them. So the book is great. I highly recommend it. I'm working on another one called Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt, and I'll let you know how that one goes.
Very good, very good. It's always good. There's so many great publications out there, so it's great to have a recommendation from you. So, Lisa, those for people who want to follow you or connect with you, do you have any type of social media? Is it LinkedIn, websites, or how should they stay connected with you?
Of course, LinkedIn. I'm on there. You can do a lgrounds at farwestcorrosion.com. And that's all that I have right now out there.
Very good, very good. And for everybody, if you could follow me on LinkedIn, also too, make sure that you check out every Wednesday at noon, all new episode of Build Out. And I appreciate this opportunity to have a great conversation with you, Lisa.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
I hope you found value with today's Build Out broadcast. Make sure you connect with Jim on LinkedIn and subscribe to his YouTube channel. This way you'll be notified on new live streams and when new content is released. Please give today's broadcast a like and share with your connections and colleagues. Thanks for watching, and please visit buildoutproductions.com for additional content and to join the mailing list so you can keep updated on other streams and quality content from the creators on the Build Out Productions team.